Good morning. Well, today's the day I'm going to start learning how to weld. Just stick welding, but I've never done it before. What I'm trying to do for the arbor is at some point, a tree branch or something crashed down and broke and bent a bunch of the pieces for it, especially at this far end towards the back of the garden. And how the arbor works is there are rings that go like this, and at the top of each ring, there's a kind of pre-sized piece of metal, like a bar. It's this thing. I've taken one of them off, and I've temporarily put a bit of wood there to keep them apart. It's really dodgy, but whatever. And so the idea is these pieces of metal have two ends on them, and it stops the rings from going either in or out and hold it all together. And then there are rods that go all the way around in the other holes, that allow the vines and whatnot to grow on them, and it just kind of gives it a little more firmness, but nothing crazy. So what I need to do is I need to make 5 of these, because I'm inserting 5 rings, or 5 half hoops, or whatever you call them. I have all the ends of them. What looks like happened is as it fell over, someone went up there with like an angle grinder or like a cutting tool and cut the ends off. So luckily I have these little pieces. So what I've done is I've been drilling out the center of these to the diameter of this, which is 1 centimeter. And then I'm going to basically make a slightly, not all the way through, but just at the far end, and make a slightly bigger like fillet or fillet, whatever you want to call it, of a hole. And that'll allow me to weld around the end of this, because there's not really any pressure going this way because you've got the pole in there. Really, it's to stop it from being pulled apart. So by having kind of a plug at the end of this, slightly bit bigger metal that's attached, as well welded to this plates, then you get something structurally good, I think. And that's going to be the goal for this project. And then also, when I get up there, where these rods join all the way around, I'm going to use a lot of the original ones. I'm just going to bend them straight. If it's not perfect, it's fine. But where they join, I'm going to go up there with the welder and just kind of tack them together so they're all one kind of connected thing. So other than that, that's all the welding I'm going to do for this. So, but it's a good first start. And yeah, my friend's going to come over and he's going to show me how to at least do these. Fingers crossed, because then I can get that up and get it done, which would be awesome. Anyways, wish me luck. Never done this before, but let's give it a go, right? Good morning. Well, yesterday I learned how to weld. Wasn't too bad. My friend said I did pretty good for a first timer. The goal of yesterday was to get these brackets on the end of these rods that I bought. So these rods are to go in the very center, all the way along of all these arches. What they do is they're what fastens them together. So there's basically 2 holes for bolts to go through, and this keeps the spacing at the top together. And then it obviously stops it from going each way. So what we did is so I think when the tree fell down or whatever fell down and broke all that in there, they just simply cut the metal off that was all bent and mangled. So what they had left on all the hoops that I have was cut ends like this. So I drilled out the ends, and then we inserted new ones in, and then we welded from the back basically. And yeah, they seem pretty good. Nothing looks like it's gonna ever move again, so that's great. Maybe not the prettiest welds, but I did some good ones, and he hadn't welded in like 20 years, so he did a few bad ones, and I did a few bad ones, but it was a good learning experience. So, but anyways, we got 5 of these, which is what we needed. So I'm going to be adding 1 at the end down behind you there, near the catio, and then I'll be adding 4 over here. One of the other issues that I have to come and sort is that this section here of metal is too far bent. If it's a little bit off, I'm not worrying about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's old, it's, whatever. But what I have to do is somehow brace up these arches, remove that metal, straighten it out, and then put it back in again. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but we'll see in the next couple days. So what we also have is some really good weather coming. Today's supposed to be like 25 or something, and 0 chance of rain for the next 4 or 5 days. So my priority is going to be getting the gazebo painted, as much of this painted as possible. So what I'm probably going to do is start on this end, get the 1 hoop in, and then I'll be able to paint all the way along until about this section here, which I have to repair. And then hopefully I'll be able to get that done early next week if the weather holds up. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm a welder, kinda. But anyways, it's nice to learn a new kind of skill, and I'll be able to use it for other things in the future. So I'm still gonna probably weld some of these rods together that are kind of currently held together with, like, they put like a wire around it to hold the 2 pieces of rod together, a wire wrap like that. So I'm probably just gonna do like tack welds. But what I have to do is I have to smash and straighten all these ones on the sides forwards so that they connect with that end down there that I'm going to add a hoop to. And then I'm going to insert new ones at this end, coming through that way. So anyways, that's the plan. Fingers crossed it works out. And let's see how I do on painting. I'm getting this up. Well, it's towards the end of the first day. It looks to me, well, I got the first ring up, the ring that's over the catio, which is great. or hoop, or whatever you want to call it. What I'm thinking is I'm going to have to remove all the other ones at the other end that are up and bent. There's one section, I actually thought it was two pieces of metal that they were resting on, one of the horizontal bars, but it's not. It's all one, and it's like 5-6 meters long. So, and it's really wonky. I can't just leave it like that. It's not even on one of the posts. So what I'm thinking of doing is removing all the rings and all the things that the plants are sitting on as well for those 5, taking the metal off and then installing them again. So yeah, I'm just in a bit of a position where it's like I got to think about, I was thinking I jack them up with aqua props or jacks or something like that, but really I think I've got to be a little careful because it's not massively heavy, the rings, but they're awkward, and I don't want to fall off a ladder or something like that. So I think if I just be cautious, do a little more work, take them off carefully, I can bend them on the ground flat, and then I can, get them all kind of restored and then put them back up again. I think that might be the best route, even though it's probably going to take me a couple more days. I'm just going to take a look tonight and determine what to do first, whether I'm going to paint the half that's already kind of aligned or ready to go. I'm going to shift the poles that exist, because I don't want to take the whole thing down, that's for sure. But, if I can bang those through so they connect up to the first ring that I just added on near the catio, maybe it'll work. Maybe I can just paint that for the next few days, because I'm kind of focused on where the painting can happen, because that's weather dependent. We're supposed to be getting reasonably clear weather, but it's going to be very windy. So then again, it's like, do I want to be up on scaffolding, hauling around metal rings, and I don't really want to fall. So I'm going to have a little think. I think I'm going to do something fun. I'm going to put down the grass seed. I got my little thermometer thing that does the soil temperature, so I think we're around 70 already, which is great. So yeah, we can put some grass down. So we'll do that and water the grass. Well, that's going to do it for this vid. It's a pretty good vid all over the place. I did, what did I do? I did a coat of paint on the arbor, not the arbor, the gazebo thing behind me. I'm just about to start another one on that this morning. I put down grass seed and tilled it up, not tilled it, but scarified it to kind of soften the top layer of soil and break all the bits down. And then I put down the grass seed. You put down a very small amount. It's such fine seed, it's pretty crazy. But anyways, fingers crossed that kicks off in takes a while. It could be up to like 6 weeks before it really takes off. But you have to keep it watered, like literally, if it ever goes dry, it kind of kills it off. So you really want to keep it. So I'm basically have it automated, so it's going to water every kind of like 6 hours kind of thing, just for like 2 or 3 minutes, just to mist it. And then I put down some gauze on top, not gauze, but netting to stop the birds, because the last time I did it, the birds had a field day eating all the seed up. It's not the best. And then I did my first piece of arbor metal, my first tube. It's still up after one night, so that's a good sign. What I have decided is that down at the far end, where it's really damaged, the metal that holds it up, it's just like, so originally I thought I was going to prop it all up, the hoops somehow, and then remove the metal, straighten it, and put it back in. But I think it's just too dangerous. So what I'm going to do is take all the hoops, well, not all of them, but about 5 or 6 of them down, be safe with it, remove all the bars that go through it, take a hoop down, remove the bars, and you know, get it. So because it's just me moving stuff. It's not that it's that heavy. They're reasonably heavy. They're probably around, I don't know, 15 pounds kind of each thing. They're just awkward as well. So when I'm up there on a scaffolding and on a ladder, you got to be thinking, let's be safe, right? So I'm going to do that instead. It's probably going to cost me extra 2 days, but that's what this weekend's going to be, is removing it all. My wife also just left to get started on the 3 trips of really cheap dirt, the composty, whatever it is, fibrous that we're putting on top, and then that'll finish it. So then there's all the dirt down for when we want to get the perennials in. And the bad news is they've been delayed by another week, so they're not coming today or this week. They're going to be coming possibly next weekend or the week after. So, anyways, we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully we get them in time before, you know, summer's over at this rate, but we're certainly going to be ready for it. So yeah, that's my goal. Is I'm going to be getting, in the next vid, is getting that arbor taken down, put back up together properly, and then starting to do some painting on it. Hopefully getting it done before the plants arrive. Wish me luck. Anyways, have a great weekend, and see you in the next vid. Cheers.